Many of us are noticing that we have mixed feelings about going out into the world after COVID. We don't know what's going to happen. Our nervous system hates not knowing what's going to happen. And it seems like things are going to open up again. And for some people, it already probably has. And we have such a variety of experiences. Some of us are probably just 100% looking forward to that. Others are probably 100% not looking forward to that. But most of us are in the middle there somewhere. One of the things that's happened is that COVID has made us scared of other people's breath. And on a real physical nervous system level, we have all of the trust issues that we always had before COVID. And now we have this feeling that if someone gets too close to us or coughs, we have no idea of knowing. So our nervous system can't predict with any accuracy who has COVID and who doesn't. So it's a very scary situation for our nervous system. I thought it might be helpful to just take a look at some of that, to do some breathing and relaxing, partly just to normalize that this is something that on a large scale we're going through on some level or another. What does it feel like to think about or to visualize going back out into a more public interaction again? And there's also the positive side of this. As more and more people are vaccinated, there will be less of a threat. What might have been happening over the last year and a bit, it might actually feel like, wow, I can actually go out and do things again. And I've noticed that I'm thinking about taking little road trips and different things that I wasn't thinking about before. So our nervous systems and our systems just have such a lot of complexity to it. However you want to be positioned for this, if you want to lie down, sit up, stand, move around, be still, totally up to each one of us to do that. And take a few deeper breaths, big inhales, long exhales, if that feels okay to you. And if it doesn't, breathe in whatever way it feels okay, or ignore the breath altogether. It's fine too. So one of the things that's helpful is to know how our nervous system works. And one of the ways that we downregulate or that we assure ourselves that we're safe is through longer breaths. It's so common for us to hold our breath when we're tense or worried. Then releasing your breath and letting your breath be smooth and continuous is a strong signal to the nervous system that it's okay to relax. And notice your forehead and eyes, your eyebrows, the whole top part of your face. This is where we signal to other people and where we pick up signals from other people. The muscles around the eyes, the forehead, the eyebrows. And so this is the part of our face that's actually still visible in a mask, wearing a mask. See what happens when you just tune into that area. Let your eyebrows come up and then release them. And notice what's going on just behind the forehead. Sometimes there's a lot of really compulsive thought in the brain, and there's an energy to that. And focusing on relaxing the muscles of the forehead and eyebrows can help to calm the activity in the mind. It gives the mind something else to do. We could also notice the flow of breath in the nostrils. Notice the sensations of your breath. Coming down into the mouth. Notice if you're clenching your teeth. You could move your lower jaw around a little bit. Put a bit of space between your top and bottom teeth. Let your tongue soften and be still. And come down through the neck and the throat. If you're subvocalizing thoughts, see if you could let your vocal cords be still. Let's pause for a moment. We've been looking at how we're feeling. What's our experience and felt sense about going back out into the world after people are vaccinated? And what's that experience going to be like? What might come up as you're paying attention to your mouth, your speech organs, your eyes, forehead and eyebrows, your brain, your thoughts? Notice your experience. And help yourself to stay regulated through your breath. Notice your breath could be an anchor, especially if you're holding your breath. See if you could let it smooth out. And then bring your attention down into your neck and shoulders and the back of your neck, your upper back. We so often brace ourselves against the unknown. And the truth is that nobody really knows what's going to happen individually, but certainly collectively as we move into the later spring and summer. A lot of people are being vaccinated. A lot of things are opening up. We might be feeling pressure to get together with people that we haven't for a while, or we might be really happy about that opportunity. Most likely it's a mixed blessing. So notice with just in your physical body, but also in your nervous system, if you could let go of any protectiveness or bracing through your upper back, let the muscles of your upper back soften. And as you're breathing in and breathing out, let them soften a little bit more. You could move your shoulders up and exhale, let them release. You could roll them around. And the truth is that all of the reactions in our body, our mind, our nervous system make sense on some level. And what's really going to soften through our body is feeling less of a threat, feeling more safety. So as we are sitting and doing a practice, we might even have our eyes open sometimes and look around, especially if any kind of fear thoughts are coming into your mind. Look around and look at the cues of safety in your room right now. You can look behind you, look up and down. And most of us will be in a room that's safe for our bodies. If we weren't feeling safe, we wouldn't be doing a practice right now. So we could let our eyes, let our nervous system know that. So these nonverbal communication. And we could also notice that if we're breathing in a smooth, deep way, that's another very powerful signal to our nervous system that our body's safe. Even though we might be thinking about moving out into different kinds of social interactions, that right now our physical body is safe. There's no threat here. And knowing that in our mind isn't all that helpful. We don't really convince our nervous system through our mind, although it can help a little. But just feeling that in the breath, letting your breath be more full. If you're holding your breath, let it release. Bring your attention from the back of your chest to the front of your chest and into your belly as well. And let yourself breathe. Let your focus be on your breath as well. Let that signal your body that you're safe. And sometimes when we're anxious, we come to the end of the inhale. We don't really want to let it go into the exhale. There's a feeling of, I'm not sure if it's okay to let this go. There might not be another one. And this is so metaphorical as well. It's not just our physical breath, of course. It's, can I let go of my thoughts, my fears, my experience? How am I going to keep myself safe? And at the end of the inhale, it might feel like, oh, I can't even think about letting anything else come in. I just feel so overwhelmed. And then we kind of stop there. So see if you could allow your breath to be completely in your awareness. You're not focusing on anything else for several breaths. And allow it to move. So just at the end of your inhale, letting go. Trust that you'll have another breath coming along in a few seconds. And then letting it come in, letting yourself breathe in. No hesitation. And of course, with the breath and with COVID, they're highly associated. And sometimes thoughts of, what if I can't breathe? What if I get it? What's going to happen to my lungs? We might have a lot of fear. And is the air that I'm breathing in safe to breathe in as we're out and about? Even with a good mask, the level of risk is higher than it was. So notice what comes through your mind when you hear those words. And then really stabilize your attention with your breath. Right now, in this moment, you can breathe. And if you have asthma or a cold or some kind of lung condition, you might not be able to breathe as fully as you'd like to. So that might be here too. We're not pretending everything is wonderful when it's not. Sometimes things are a challenge. And we do have the capacity to stay focused, at least for a few breaths. And we know from experience that as we relax our body, our lungs work better. As we soften our belly, we can exhale a little longer, we can breathe in more fully. Bring yourself back to that concentration, that regularity of the breath, the softness of your belly as you breathe out. Focus in your mind for a moment on it's safe for me to breathe. And if you have or had any kind of lung challenges, that can feel like such a blessing. And if you normally breathe really well, it might just feel like, oh, that's the usual. Of course I can breathe. Just to notice your physical breathing and the energy of that as you soften and relax. Let yourself anchor into the strength, the groundedness, the resilience, the stillness. Let your arms and legs be still as well. And sometimes we need to shake them out or stretch them. Our arms and legs can hold a lot of this hypervigilant kind of energy as well. So see if you want to do that, do that. If you want to stay still, do that. Let your body do what it needs to do. What would be the most helpful? And from this being grounded, and if you don't feel really grounded, then just kind of ignore what the other prompts are. But if you're feeling fairly steady, then you might look into what's happening right now as I think about going into a restaurant, into a social gathering, going back to work in person, maybe doing more gatherings, maybe seeing family members that I haven't seen. What comes up for you? And notice that in your body. This is a nervous system perception of threat. So if there's very little activation in your nervous system, if there's a happiness there or a joy, it might be mixed with a bit of trepidation as well. We all have such individual experiences with this. So remain very aware of your breath, of your body. Notice your feet on the floor. You could always open your eyes if you want. Look at the cues of safety again. You could hold your own hand, have that be a cue of safety for you. Notice what your experience is. And it might be a surprise, it might not be a surprise. It might be stuff that's going through your mind all the time. So we're just kind of witnessing what's coming up for us as we're thinking about going into the spring and summer as COVID takes a different form and place in our life. And regulate your nervous system through your breath, through your awareness, through being here in this moment. And then if there's something that kind of flags for you, it's something that you might look at a bit more later. But for now, we're going to let that move to the background again and just come back into regulating your system, letting your nervous system know that you're safe. And as you're paying attention to your whole body, head to toes, notice the cues of safety in your body. So that might be that your shoulders are a little bit more relaxed than they were before. Or it might be that you're worried about what's going to happen, but you're noticing that you could soften your eyebrows and let that move to the background a bit. So, if you can, for a couple of minutes, let all of the worry and concern move to the background. It's good to know what's going on in our system, and it's good to take a break from it as well. So, take some deeper breaths again. Long inhales, long exhales. And as you're breathing out, let your whole body settle and relax. Bring your attention to kindness for yourself. These are really difficult times that we're in right now. A lot of challenges, and none of us know what's going to happen. And we all have a nervous system that doesn't like that. So there's going to be more anxiety than usual because there's more threat than usual. So it makes sense. And see if you could give yourself permission to just experience life exactly as you are without thinking you should be doing it better somehow. And to give yourself that comfort like we would to a child who's scared. Let ourselves really be on our own side. Let go of any shaming that might be going on about how we should be doing this instead. And let yourself rest in the heart center for a moment. Notice your body, your breath, your mind. And if something came up, you could decide to bring it back later or work with it again. Or maybe it will be enough just to have seen it and acknowledge it's there, normalize what's going on. This is going on for all of us. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.